Ekaro, Ekabo family, and welcome to Monday Mornings with Iya Funlayo. We're getting our motivation to get started through the week. Let us know you're here with us this morning. Allison, blessings to you. Good morning. Galia, much love to you. Ekaro, Ifayemi, blessings and love. Chris, Ogboato, Asori, Wori Wofun, yes. Autumn equinox, new lunar month, a lot's going on today. Terry, good to see you with us this morning. Naila, blessings and more blessings. Ogboato, Oshunwemi, Momomi, good to have you this morning. Laura, bonjour, welcome back. Kashia, good morning. Ekaro, Blue, blessings and good day to you. Good to have you with us. J Mac in the building. Blessings to you, J Mac. It's always good to see you. Auntie Franita, Ekaro, Ekabo, blessings and welcome, family. Good morning. It is Monday and it is me, your favorite scholar priestess, Iya Funlayo, PhD, coming in with some Monday motivation. If you are hearing the sound of my voice right now, you know what I always say. I need you to throw those hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care, because that means that you have made it into another week. You have made it into another chance to continue moving forward towards your destiny. And I, for one, am thrilled about that. Efuntola Ogboato, Mekava, blessings to you. Good morning. Happy Monday. It is a joy to be alive. It is a joy to be with the family as always. We had a good time yesterday. We had a good time last week. We always have a good time. Every time we come together, we have a good time and a blessed time and a high time and a beautiful time. And I am thankful for all of the beautiful energy that you all share. Ayo, blessings to you. Niv, Alafia, Neo, blessings and more blessings. So you know how we get started on Mondays. We have got to get started by saluting our own sacred selves, our own Ori, the seat of our conscience and consciousness. Remember that doesn't only live in the head. Where else does it live, my good students? It lives, of course, as well in the gut. It lives, of course, as well in the feet. We got to think about it. We got to feel about it. And then we got to be about it. We got to be about doing it, right? Those are our three primary centers of Ori. Of course, we have more. We have the Ori of our hands that helps us to do the things that we do. We have the Ori of our knees. We have the Ori of our elbows and our arms that helps us to carry. Listen, we have it going on all up and through, right? And so this morning, and as every Monday morning, we give honor to our sacred selves. Yolanda, blessings. Ifafumike, Ogboato, good morning. Getting ready for a new week. Superstar, blessings to you. So you know, we will say our chant from Otura Ogbe. I invite you to touch your precious head as we say our chant from Otura Ogbe. Adupayo. Go ahead and hold your head or hold your gut or hold your feet. You want to bend down and touch your toes, whichever center of your Ori is needing attention this morning. I invite you to let it receive that attention. Kajini kutu kutu, kamomo huni pinko pin. Vifafuno lomo ajibare pade lola. Emi ni mo jini kutu kutu ti mo mu huni pinko pin. Emi ni mo ba aje ati ire lo ni ati lola. Emi ni mo jini kutu kutu ti mo mu huni pinko pin. Emi ni mo ba aje ati okiki ire lo ni ati lola. Ashe, 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 ashe. Yes, family. If you've been with us before, you know that means that when we wake up early in the morning, in the kutu kutu, early in the morning, and we give honor to our sacred seats of destiny, it is those who do that who will meet with good things, not only today, but also Lola tomorrow. It says, Emini, I am the one who wakes up early in the morning and gives honor to my Ori, gives honor to my seed of destiny, and therefore I am the one who's gonna meet with all good things. What am I gonna meet with? I'm gonna meet with health. I'm gonna meet with wealth. I'm gonna meet with Okiki Ire, which is the blessing of recognition for my good deeds, not only today, but also tomorrow. Ashe, 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 ashe. Know that the work that we put in for today is not only for today, but it's also for tomorrow. The work we do today on Monday is going to help carry us throughout the entire week. So we give thanks. We give thanks. We give thanks to get it started right. Ifa Yoyin, Iya, blessings to you. Jamisha, Alafia, Neo. Blessings. So good to be with y'all. It just does my heart so good. And we had a high time on yesterday. You already know what I'm going to tell you, that if you weren't there with us, I need you to go on back and hit that replay, hear the story with all the bells and whistles, with all the voices, with all the fun. But very brief recap of the story was that there was a time that Elekba was not happy with his station in life and basically tried to take some little shortcuts in order to get to success, and took people with him because he went and advertised that he was doing a ritual, and instead of empowering people, the ritual was intended to take away their sight, to take away their memory, and to take away their vision so that they would have to depend on him. And so people went and submitted themselves for it because he promised them that it was some type of get rich quick scheme. It was some type of, get it now, anyhow type situation. And so people went and they submitted themselves to this. And ultimately, Winnie, Yansa, Iba, take it, Yansa, oh, Iba, take it, Oluwami, oh, Iba, take it, Yansa, had to come through and save the day, and you'll hear the rest in the story. But this is the origin. This story, Kashia, yes, I see you dropping them down there. It was the origin of glasses, because ultimately, in order to give the people their vision back, Oya had mixed up a mixture with sand and eggs, and Olodumare Olofi hit the mixture with lightning, melted it down, it made glass, and ultimately glasses came to be in that Odu of a wandering Ogbe, so that the people could see again. And there were so many lessons here, right, about trying to get things quickly. The biggest one was about that. And we have a lot of lessons in Ifa about trying to get things quickly, and about the detriment that happens when we don't let things run their natural course. Right? And this is one big lesson from this story about letting things run their natural course, and about getting what is ours in the way that we're meant to get it. One of the things that the story highlights that we didn't talk about yesterday is the fact that in this particular story, Elegba was the child of Oya, and Oya had all of the blessings that he was looking for. Oya had all of the blessings that Elegba was looking for, and he could have inherited those blessings directly from her had he stayed close to her, had he listened to her advice, had he done the things that she was instructing him to do. But he felt like he had to go and get it on his own. He didn't want to take the advice of his mother. He didn't want to take the position, right, that he actually would have been entitled to based on who his mother was. And sometimes we feel that way, right? We gotta go get it on our own. I gotta get it on my own. I don't want to take, what it is that my family is offering to me, and I don't want to take what it is that, I'm being offered by my teachers, and I don't want to take what it is that I'm being offered, right? That's actually mine by birthright. But I feel like I got to do it the hard way. Some of us, thank you for saying this, right, have hard heads. And some of us want to learn things the hard way and understand that that's a function of our Ori. Every Ori is different. Sappho, good morning. Blessings. Every Ori is different, right? And some Oris have to go through all of the rigmarole before they get to the blessings. Naja, blessings. Some Oris have to go through all that rigmarole before they get to the blessings, right? Some have to experiment. Some have to feel it for themselves. For some, the words are not going to be sufficient. And so we know that, and Elegba was one of those. And as we talked a little bit about yesterday, it is important for us to be discerning as to why people are offering us particular things, right? And we talked about this last week when we heard the story talking about how every smile isn't love, right? And how the right hand of Obatala was trying to trick the chameleon into giving up his birthright. And so we have a similar situation going on here. And this idea of being tricked out of what's rightfully ours, or out of giving up what's rightfully ours because we are seeking a quick fix to things. And so that's what happened with the people who Elegba was putting his information out to and who were coming to him. He said, oh yeah, I got a quick thing for you. You don't have to do all that hard work that they said you had to do. You ain't got to do that, Ebo. You ain't got to do all that. Just come get what I got, and I'll get you right. And of course, we heard the story yesterday that he got them wrong, right? And it was taking away their gifts, and it was taking away their vision. And so I want us, as we go into this week, to recognize that people will sometimes talk down on us. It ain't got to be something as deep as actually physically taking your vision away. But that's a metaphor, as Ifa gives us so many metaphors. That's a metaphor for our spiritual sight. That's a metaphor for the vision that we have for ourselves, and how people will sometimes wash our heads with nonsense, right? They'll wash our heads with doubt. They'll wash our heads with fear. They'll wash our heads with, but where you going to get the money from? They'll wash our heads with, well, how you going to do that? Right? And all kinds of doubts and things of that nature. And those are the things that will keep us from taking the steps that we want to take in behalf of our own success. And so it's important. This is an important story, not only to say that, of course, we should be careful who we let actually perform rituals on us, right? Who we let touch us, but even beyond, even before touching physically, right? Remember that what we allow to enter into our minds, what we allow to enter into our ears, right? What we allow to enter into our spirit, what we allow to enter into our homes, the energy that we allow to enter also affects us, right? It affects whether we are going to have the faith and confidence in ourselves. It affects whether we're going to be able to listen to our intuition. It affects whether we're going to be able to go where we need to go to get the blessings, right? Because when somebody doesn't want to see you succeed, they're going to say things like, oh, well, nah, you don't need to go today. Just chill with me. Oh, well, you don't need to really do all that. I know they said to do all that, but you don't really need to do all that. You could cut this corner and you could just do it this way. All of those things are the things that folk will say and do when they are seeking to sabotage. And understand that people don't do this intentionally all the time. Blessings, T-Shog Boato. People don't do this intentionally all the time, right? It's not always malicious. It's not always witchcraft. It's not always, negative intention. But understand that people are working in their own best interest first. just like in the story with Alec. But he wasn't necessarily trying to hurt people. He was trying to get what he wanted. And so it didn't matter to him whether people got hurt in the process. It didn't matter to him whether people got hurt in the process. And so for many, it's not going to matter to them whether you get hurt in the process. And so as we get ready to go into this next week, just be mindful of that, right? Be mindful of people offering quick fixes. Be mindful of the folks in the DM. I'm making jokes about it, but it's really not funny. A lot of people have been taken advantage of, had money taken, had their faith shaken, because when somebody comes to, say they have a message from spirit and that turns out not to be true, that can be something that really is disturbing to the spirit and things of that nature. But understanding that people do these things for their own interests. And so for us, it's a matter of making sure that we are doing everything we need to do that's in our interest to make sure we get this ide owo, to make sure we get this ide omo, to make sure we get this ide aiku, and all the blessings that we are meant to have. Ashe, ashe, ashe. I want everybody to get all the blessings that you are meant to have. So I need you to do the abos, right? Don't cut the corners. And know, again, that just because someone else doesn't see it as possible, just because someone else has fear and has doubt, just because someone else doesn't see something as a possibility for themselves, doesn't mean that it's not possible for you. Doesn't mean that it's not possible for you. Now you love blessings. It doesn't mean that it's not possible for you. So keep the faith in yourself and don't be blinded by the bull. If you want to reinforce our statement for this week, we won't be blinded by the bull. We are not going to be blinded by anybody else's words. We're not going to be blinded by anybody else's actions. We're not going to be blinded by the desire to get things quickly and skip the work. We're not going to be blinded by any of that. We will not be blinded by the bull. And remember, when you type these things, when you drop them into the chat, I need you to say it out loud too, right? So that it can go back into your ears and that you can hear it for yourself. Yes, we won't be blinded this week. We are not going to be blinded. We are not going to be blinded. We are not going to be blinded. No fraggernackle bull over here. That's right. None of that. None of it. None of it. We are not being blinded. We are not having our vision tainted. We are not being told we can't do something. We are not being discouraged. We are not having self-doubt, Nasanya. We're not being blinded in any way. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Let's see what our message from Spirit is this week to carry us through and to help us stay encouraged as we move through this time. Olodumare, ancestors, Orisha, all divine beings, seeking a message for the Ashe Ray family this week. Using the Chalks of Kikongo deck by my dear sister, Priestess Sharifa, over at Agenos. And what do we have for the family this week? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, they jumping out. Motion, 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 motion. We are in motion. Motion is the energy for this week. That Ori of the feet, they're in motion. That's what the card looks like. Motion. We are moving. We got to get up and get out and get something. Listen, the prayer is cute. The rituals is cute. All of that is cute. But if we not getting up and getting out and doing something like the great prophet Macy Gray said, if we don't get up, get out and do something, won't nothing happen. Motion. The message says, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. Doing something just for the sake of doing it is detrimental. Operating with intention is the objective. Be clear on how you are moving, why you are moving, and for whom you are moving. For every cause, there is an effect. The decisions you make today set the tone and motion of tomorrow. Ashe, ashe, ashe. So one of the things, I actually just had this conversation with a client over the past couple of days who said that it was difficult for her to be still. Right. And as a New Yorker, we know this, like when you're walking and you get to the corner and instead of waiting for the light, you got to cross this way and then cross that way and then cross back this way just to keep yourself moving. And there was this place where she was very much that type of person in life, period, saying that she always had to keep moving, always had to keep moving. And one of the messages that's coming through from Spirit here today is that all movement is in progress, right? I'm going to say it again. All movement is in progress. You could be running in place. You could be going backwards, right? Just because you're moving doesn't mean you're progressing. And so this says to make sure that as you are putting things in motion, right, as you are moving, that you understand where and how and why you're moving, that you understand whether you're working in your own best interest or someone else's, right? That you understand whether you're doing something that's ultimately going to benefit you or something that's ultimately taking away. And so being mindful of how we're moving, where we're moving, whether we're just moving for the sake of moving or whether we're actually going somewhere, right, is the key and is what this is asking us. So some other meanings. It says, only dogs chase their tails. Be mindful of moving in senseless circles. Things are picking up pace. Pay attention to what's happening, right? When the doors of opportunity open, we have to walk through them. Remember that divine timing is one of the magics of the universe, and one of the things that we have to pay attention to is the time and when it's time to do things. That's why sometimes things won't work out, and there's a cycle that comes around that says, okay, now try it again right now. And when you try it again the second time, doing the same exact thing, it works when it didn't work the first time, right? So that's that divine timing of the universe. Move toward that which feeds your spirit and supports your light. So again, right, this message from the week saying, don't listen to those who are trying to disparage, discourage, sow seeds of doubt. You have a choice as to what enters into your medulla oblongata, right? So don't let everything in. Don't let everybody in. Don't let everybody's voice in. Don't let everybody's opinion in. Don't follow everybody's advice. People can say what they want to say. It's a free, it's a free country still, kind of. But whether you take it in and you listen to it is another story. Some digging deeper, some more questions. How can you be more calculated in the choices that you make? How can you be more calculated in the choices that you make? How can you strategize better? How can you make sure that you, as they say, measure twice and cut once? Right? So that you're not doing unnecessary things. How do you do that? How do you cope with the many different motions of life? This is one of those that asks you to understand that tibitire la daile, right? That there's always motion in life, that there's always gonna be like the folks say, if it ain't one thing, it's another. Yes, it's always gonna be one thing or the other in this life, right? There's always gonna be some movement that's going on around you. Even if you're not the one moving, things are gonna be moving around you. And so how do you deal with that? Do you let every little thing that happens around you take your eye off of where you're going? Or do you stay steadfast noticing those things, right? But not letting them take you off of your path and your mark and where you're moving to? Are you flexible in the redirection of life, or do you find yourself resisting the flow? That's another question, right? How do you deal with motion? Do you resist, or do you allow yourself to bend? Remember that, there has to be some flexibility in us to allow us to move with the world and with the universe and with spirit. It doesn't mean that you should be so wobbly that you just go any which way with anything. But it does mean understanding that being too rigid means that when that wind comes, you're going to snap and break instead of being able to flow and move and allow yourself to get into the new rhythm that's being presented to you. And so that is important, Yolanda. I'm so glad that the message is timely. We have to know things are always going to happen, and how do we manage ourselves, right? How do we flow with it? J Mac, yes, crying, definitely. Y'all know I'm a crybaby. Okay, I let the tears flow, and that is healing water that washes through us and gives us a moment to regroup. There's a sense of meditation when we really allow ourselves a moment to weep, right? And to really be cleansed by those tears and to just allow all of that emotion. Sometimes ain't no words for it, right? There's nothing to say. There's not even really anything to do. Something just is what it is. When we have grief, as you know, I've been experiencing, and some of us have been experiencing, there's nothing to do. And sometimes, again, with going back to this motion, people want to do something. They see you sad, or they see you crying, or they see, an emotion working through you, and they want to do something. They're like, oh, how do I make you feel better? I want to do something. I want to be in motion. And sometimes it's like there's nothing to do but to allow this moment to play itself out and allow this water to flow through and allow, right, the tears to fall, allow the healing waters to come through. And then afterwards, I can feel better and I can regroup and I can come back to equilibrium. But we have to let it happen, right? We have to just sit with it sometimes and let it flow through us. And then we're able to do a motion or to make a move that's not just chasing our tails, and that's not just moving to be moving, but that's really with intention. Yeah, Superstar, I understand it has been a challenging and heavy year for many of us. And so there is a place where we have to just let ourselves sit and flow and let the things flow through us and accept the patience of our timing and all of that. Yes, this is a great point, Yolanda, that we often pick and choose the things we think we're in control of to do something about when we feel other things being out of control. And in order to keep ourselves in motion and in order to not sit still in whatever the challenging moment is that we're having. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. Let the motion stop at the moments that it needs to stop and let yourself recalibrate so that the next moves can be the ones that are really serving you. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Let's see what our crystal ally is that is going to help us as we go through this motion for the week, as we go through these ebbs and flows of motion and stillness, as we go through these ebbs and flows of working and resting. All right, that's a big part of what that's talking about too, is making sure that you have a good balance between work and rest, between motion and not motion. Spirit, what is our crystal ally for this week? What are we working with? Pyrite. Okay, all right. That glistening spirit, that wealth from within, knowing your own worth, self-appreciation, genuine abundance and prosperity within. Listen, when we know our own value, when we know our own worth, we don't have to rush around. We don't have to, feel like we got to do everything at once. We know that our value is not only in the things that we can produce and the things that we can do, but that we inherently have value. And so Pyrite teaches us that and gives us that energy, tells us that we are valuable. Rosie Alafiani tells us that we are valuable, tells us that we are jewels, that we have sparkles in us, that we have rich veneers of goodness all over us, and that we just have to know that. And again, that's not based only on the things that we do. That's not based on being constantly in motion. That's not based on running ourselves ragged. that's based on just being who we are. Pyrite's message says, throughout the ages, humans have sought the gems of the earth, the crystals whose beauty delighted the eye and whose powers could aid them in their quest to achieve a sense of safety and abundance. They recognized the intrinsic value of these gifts from nature, and when pyrite appears, you are meant to appreciate the abundance that the universe has provided, an abundance of opportunities, resources, support, and most importantly, love. A scarcity mentality will prevent you from seeing all that is available for you. And you are called now to offer thanks for the myriad gifts you have been given to help you achieve balance. As you take your healing journey, you will find it easier and easier to recognize that you will always have what you need. Abundance awaits you as you ready yourself to claim it. The universe has your back. What you need will not be denied to you at this time. So open yourself to receiving by practicing appreciation. Ashe, 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 ashe. Practice appreciation, practice gratitude for the things that you have. And that is one of the ways to bring more goodness and more abundance and more blessing in. When we show gratitude, Ifa says we should be thankful. And so when we show gratitude and appreciation for everything that we have, for the road that we've already traversed, for all of the blessings that have already been given to us, that is a part of attracting more. This is also, of course, again, reminding us of our inherent value and that we have so many good things and so many blessings. You know, even in the most dire of times, we always have to remember that the forces of construction are outweighing the forces of destruction, because if that wasn't the case, then we wouldn't be here. We would have all been crushed long ago, right? But to understand that the constructive forces, right, the constructive forces of the universe are actually in greater measure than the destructive forces, even when it doesn't always look that way, even when it's hard to see. They are. And this is why we're able to have life, period, because the constructive forces have to outweigh. And so there's a place in which Spirit is calling for us to pay closer attention to those constructive forces, to turn our faces toward the sun, to turn our faces toward the sparkle of pyrite, to turn our faces towards the good things, towards the understandings of ourselves as valuable, towards the understandings of ourselves as powerful, towards the understandings of ourselves as magical, towards all of those things. Ashe, ashe. Beautiful messages for the week. Motion, pyrite, both helping us to understand our inherent value, not rushing around to do things, recognizing the gold that lives within ourselves, recognizing the shine and the sparkle that we have. Wear something glittery this week. You know what I'm saying? You know I love my bling. And so I invite you to bling out this week. Wear some white, wear some sparkles, wear some crystals, wear something that's going to glisten in the sun and attract attention and remind you of how powerful and beautiful and wonderful and just fabulous you are. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Family. You know, it is always a beautiful time when we get to be together. If you are new to our family, we invite you to join us. Visit us over at asheeray.com. Get some more of this medicine that we have for you. There's all kinds of goodies in the shop, including my white bath and or ointment, which are available right now and going fast. You know, I only make small batches when I make them, so definitely don't miss out if you are so inclined to get some of that goodness. Sappho, thank you for getting the giving started this morning. If you are feeling blessed by your experience, experience this morning, you are very welcome to participate in the ministry of giving. You can do that here on YouTube. You can also do that via Cashapp, $ Iya Funlayo, Venmo at Ashe and using Funlayo at AsheIray.com for PayPal and Zelle. We give thanks. We give thanks for all of the contributions you make to the ministry. And remember that the most important and valuable thing that you have is not money, but what is it? It's that that time, that energy, and that attention. So I do not take it lightly that you spend those non-renewable currencies with me. And I am inviting you to make sure that you only spend them in places and with people who uplift you and who remind you of your value. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Ambi, I missed y'all too. Happy to be back with you on Mondays. Looking forward. Be sure to save the date, December 20th, for our 8th annual Black Spirit Solstice Summit. As well, I will be in Philly on October the 16th doing an Ori ritual as a part of the book launch of my dear sister Priestess Sharifa, her book Mirrored Reflections, which is going to be absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful photographic coffee table book. There are actually some photographs of me in the book as well as others in the community, and so it is a beautiful and exciting time that's going to be happening. So if you are in or near Philly, I absolutely would love for you to join me for that. And also the opening night of the exhibition, which is going to be October the 10th. And the exhibition will run all week during that week from the 10th through the 17th. So grateful for you, family. I send you love. I send you love. I send you love. Remember to stay in good motion. Remember to sparkle and shine like pyrite. And y'all have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful week. Hey, be powerful. Be wonderful. Remember who you are. Remember your power, your magic, your energy. Kotopeo. Oh, Dabo family.